What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Tahyira Show. It's me, Tahyira. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is talk number 16. We are moving right along on this YouTube channel. Love it. Progression is like my middle name. Happy summer. Happy August. Welcome in Black Business Month. So, content for today is going to follow something that I spoke about before, about Black entrepreneurs, kind of like our nepotism conversation, but I want to do more of a historical take here, where I'm explaining to you guys what part of American history they left us out of why we need to work so hard on our wealth. I did some research, I found some names, let's get into it. If you like my previous video, or this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can, so more people can find. Like what you share. So since we're talking about Black business, I'm like looking at my look and I'm like, I feel very Serena right now. So shout out to Serena Williams, because she's one of the women that inspires me to just be out here, be exactly who I am, and just own that. And like, if people don't like it and people don't accept you and people ask you to change to be more what's accepted, it's like, no, fuck that. Ran out, actually. So shout out to S by Serena. So I'm gonna go and probably try to shop and support her so I can wear a lot more of her stuff on my YouTube channel. I'm not getting paid to plug Serena. I just love her. She's a Black woman. The Olympics just passed, so she's my favorite Olympian, and her daughter's named Olympia. So as being a Black person, I want to tell you guys how I broke down this video. I have 5 sections, right? The first section is called A Hard Knock Life. Hard Knock Life is going to explain to us like what it is just for us to live, no matter, you know what I mean, before we're trying to pursue anything just to be a worker. It's hard for us, right? That explains that. Then I have Black Business Month. We're going to highlight a lot of startup stories from the Black diaspora. I never know how to say that word, and I hate that word. Black people in America. They may hate on you, doesn't mean that you still can't make it. It may take you longer, but you should still go. That's the second section. Feeling lonely in entrepreneurship. You guys know I would like to link in mental health here. So how we can find community that may not be our community, you know, find people like minds. That's where the internet and YouTube and all these things come about. Why I started creating and finding a space to put my voice. That's part number. We have the Black Trap. That's the kids, mortgage, trying to be like a white person, like you just have it out here, that mentality. And then the workers mentality, the people who are anti-entrepreneurship, and it's just like, I'm not trying to own anything, and tries to hurt the Black people that do. Black people I'm talking about. This is the Black on Black crime version of the story. Not trying to take too long, I broke it down so that it also helps me to stay in order, Tahyira. So let's go. Hard Knock Life. So y'all know like Jay-Z's one of my favorite rappers. Shout out to Jay-Z. Not so much of like what he said in his rap, but more about what he represents as a rapper, as a businessman. His business acumen is something that I've always followed. I started paying a lot more attention to him when I started, right around like 2015, when I started marching for Black Lives, which was around the 2014 Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, that time. I started listening to the same music with a different name, like the Rihannas, the Kanyes, the people that come around him with him, Beyonc. All of them have been trying to fight and speak in their content specifically about what we're talking about now. Just, I guess they had to do it so subtly that, and you know, the media and the way we used to live before, people promoting their album, they're never saying, like, I mean, Jay-Z literally have an album that says the Black album, so maybe he's an exclusion because, like, I've always been Black. It's always been about us. It's like, I feel like Beyonc right now, who's his wife, she wants to put out like Black is King and Black Parade, and I listen to her fans and they're like, oh, we don't even know what you're talking about now. She's talking about Orishas and stuff, and I'm like, so I still feel like she has a lot of work to do with to try to get her messaging really, really clear. I see it coming out a lot better now in her art, like in her fashion stuff. So people are kind of getting it in that way. But it's like Beyonce's always been about the black woman, and you know, like Lizzo right now and Cardi and all the people taking current hate about making pop music and trying to appease to white people. We can't let Black people try to bring us down by trying to say that we're trying to be with white people. You know what I mean? Like they've tried that so many times already. It's enough. We gotta support each other. That means before someone makes it on the radio, you should have known who they were from being a local artist. We have tons of local ways to find businesses, artists, whatever. You know, you don't have to wait till someone becomes a blue check or becomes on TV to find them. You just have to have the mindset to find them. You know, it's just that simple. Everybody can't afford PR. That shit is like the highest level of in your business is when you start doing PR. The Hard Knock Life of being a Black person. That's one of Jay-Z's songs. You know what I mean? It's like, think about it from that way. See how you would feel as a Black entrepreneur and go and find another one that you can help. You know, I started my business not even trying to make money, just trying to say that we can do this as business people. Like I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew there was nothing that white people were doing in their company with their nepotism that we couldn't figure out in our own families, in our blocks, in our friends, in our own community. We could build a bank, we could build a school, we could build a hospital. since we want to use their stuff, they're going to try to hurt us. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm all about we are the world and trying to make it everyone's friends around here. You know what I mean? I'm all down. I went to an all-white school, I have tons of white friends. But that's just not where we live. The hard not light mentality, you know? And Jay-Z took that from Annie, Little Orphan Annie. So just understand it from that way. That story is about a little white girl who made it into Daddy Warbucks. And you know what I mean? It's a hard knock life for us. We are everyday Annies. Think about it accordingly. Moving on. So it's Black Business Month. August is Black Business Month. I found this on TikTok. I didn't even know about this. And since I found out about it like maybe 2 weeks before August 1st. So I saw it coming up, and then TikTok put a little bit of like attention on it on the first week of August, and then everything else got knocked out. Again, we're finding a lot of different stuff. You guys know I've said this many times before. You guys follow me on Instagram. I let the good times roll. You follow me on Twitter. You follow me on Facebook. You know that I talk about Black content creators like me being hurt by the type of things we choose to talk about. Like, there's a reason why certain things are super popular and other things are like, oh my God, how come you didn't get any views? Not because people don't want or want listen, it's because they're trying to block it, you know? Lunsford Lane, I posted it on our For Us Nation, that's my nonprofit. So I'm gonna read a little bit from it. Lunsford Lane, enterprising salesman. He was born in 1803. Lane became an entrepreneur while still enslaved. So it's like, how did you even do that? There's not a lot of research, and this is where my travel in America is all about. It's about going to places down in the South like New Orleans, going to the libraries, going down there, reading old newspapers, because that's the only way we're going to be able to piece together our history, because it's scattered throughout the South in this country, you know, in the North too, because we have a lot of the free documentation in the North that was destroyed and burned, and we don't, you know what I mean? But this is where the research comes in. While enslaved, a prolific salesman, he made a name manufacturing and selling his own brand of tobacco-type goods. Also made like marbles, pipes, firewood. He eventually earned enough to purchase his own freedom and later that of his family. Black Business Month. So, this is the type of people that we come from. This is the reason why I'm telling this story. I know people are probably like, well, what does that mean? Like, that's not going to help me. It is going to help you. We come from, because this is what I was taught growing up as a Black person in America from immigrant people from Trinidad and Tobago. If you don't know where you're going, you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. These people, the stories of slaves through migration, how we come from the western sides of Africa. Netflix put a documentary during Juneteenth, High on the Hog. It explains the food aspect of it, because I think like food is the easiest way for Black people, for American white people to accept changes. It's like, oh, okay, you're the food. Like, you know, it's just, oh, it's food. But we start talking about like murders and massacres and the fact that Irish people were scared of Black people who were free in 1866, way after the Civil War, and they tried to kill Black people. They don't want that version of the story, because there's Irish people around right now, Black people, and it's not the same. There's a lot of more Irish-owned businesses than Black ones. So this is where the conversation have to go back to find out what they stole, what they burned down, all the schools that they tried to just demolish. We tried to build Black Wall Street, Tulsa. There's people that's on CNN and TV that are white and at the top of their careers and are saying right now, I never knew there was a Black Wall Street. How did they get on MSNBC? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where we're at. They're trying to say the things that we know are not valuable. Bullshit. I call bullshit. It's a hard knock life for us. I'm up to the lonely in entrepreneurship. So I spoke about this before, first generation entrepreneurs. I'm gonna tag that video here. I also spoke about it in that video. I talked about nepotism. What we don't have in our families is nepotism. Nepotism comes about somebody starting generational wealth. You don't have a choice to work with someone else. You have to work for this company because you're the next generation coming in. In our Black community, as far, I believe, as property, and even some of that has gone away because we weren't able to maintain. A lot of people had money that came from the South and whatever it was, and through time and saving, and you see, like now I'm thinking, what's the word I'm looking for? How inflation has helped. There's people who have made money back then, and it's like their inflation still stands and it helps them now. We have wealth, but only in home ownership. What about business? Not just barbershops, not just local business. Local businesses can get broken down in any little riot or protest. Why not big business, big corporations, investment groups? And maybe they're already here and they don't just get as much PR as the white ones. It feels lonely in entrepreneurship because the part of our systemic racism here is to keep us as far and separated as possible. They don't want Oprah and Tyler to actually work together. They want to also promote now, if they work together, something had to happen to make the rest of us not want to work together. Trickle down. That's why it's systemic. Where we talk about Black on Black. Let's use Lizzo because we're dealing with this right now. It's not white people talking about her. It's black people talking about the fact that white people like her. And this is not new. Beyonce dealt with it. Aretha Franklin, that's movie's out right now. Respect is about that. Aretha Franklin was a queen of pop. All the people making music with her were white people. Ma Rainey, Black Bottom, that came out with, that's Chadwick Boseman's posthumous kind of performance that we saw in Netflix. It's a real life story that they're depicting. But if they don't tell more and more of these stories, when we see a Lauryn Hill, it's like, she's rare. Don't think that you could just ever emulate that. That's what they want us to believe. We have to be able to raise our consciousness higher so that we don't feel that loneliness. I compare myself as an entrepreneur to white entrepreneurs. Jeff Bezos, what's the one from Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett. What is it about them that's super special? Nothing. They do the same thing better that they know that they're good at. They do the same thing over and over and over and over every day. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the same thing. Steve Jobs was a big person like that too. You know what I mean? You never seen him wearing, like, he just always looked the same way. Like, do you even take showers? I try to be like that. Like, don't give a shit about what people say to me. Now, because I'm not a white male, it comes across a lot different. It's like, oh, well, Tahyira should be. And I don't let black people tell me what to do. And that goes for parents, peers, friends, strangers, whomever. You gotta have that gumption inside you. Let that be your thing. Let that make you not feel lonely. It's like, at the end of the day, so what if you're the only one doing it? You know what I mean? You can always find people that want to eat at the table because, again, we got freeloaders. It's just all of them. Like, you know what I mean? There's always going to be people that want to just be around once you make it. But you making it is always going to be on you. So why give a shit if you feel lonely about it? I feel lonely all the time. And I still do it, you know? Don't let loneliness hold you back. That's what I'm trying to say. The hard knock life. It was sad about Annie, right? It's like, she wasn't the only orphan. She's the one that made it out. And it still was, it's a hard knock, rotten, smelly life. That's all of us as black people here, black Americans, trying to fight for our future, just not to get killed by, you know, like racist white people. Just to live regular and not have your skin color make you be seen as different. There's nothing that we could do about our skin color. So it's like, just drop that already. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, to me, I'll be like, I don't understand this whole, people are mad at white people. Why are you mad at them? It's not their fault that they're white and they're born privileged. Like, you know what I mean? Do what you gotta do. For an example. So we all gotta work. You know, a lot of people are always like, we're out to the workers mentality. Everybody has to work to survive. If you're an entrepreneur, you work harder than the people that you pay on your payroll. Like, I have to go to work to make sure I fund the payroll. I also have to be on meetings that have investors. So even when I become, maybe I have like 2 people funding me, as that grows, as the Reddit Media Group wants to do more, and I have now a table full of investors that have to check a decision that Tahyira makes as the entrepreneur, I don't really have control anymore at that company. The people funding my company have control because that's the way business works. When I go to work, and I'm just at work, I'm working with different clients, and I'm like representing brands, and I'm learning in the back end how people run their company, so I know how to run mine. Payroll, clear, make sure you're being transparent with people. Hey, the payroll is late. I'm gonna let you know. I apologize. You let people know beforehand. You don't let people know after. You don't try to save your own face. You just try to be really real and care about other people more than you care about yourself. That's my entrepreneur management style. I want everyone to be able to have a happy day, but I also want to be able to get our goals met. People to be happy, people to be, you know, because it's like when you do something, you work hard at something, and then you get that congratulations. I want people to feel that experience too, because I've done that. I've been to graduation after 5 years of writing a master's degree. You know what I mean? Like, not, but this quick instant gratification of like, oh, I'm just lit. That's not gonna help anybody around here, you know. And it's like, that's the worker mentality. The reason people stay on a job, it's for the immediate gratification of a paycheck. Whereas if you don't have money like me, like I literally have to call this is me being candid here. I can share my stories. I don't know if you can share yours. Call the IRS, and I'm like, how is it you told me I won't to New York State taxation? How is it I owe $730? Not the company, but I'm like, they said I have tax liabilities, and I'm like, all right, but I'm also on unemployment because it was a pandemic. I went back to work. Unemployment never cleared, and they're like, well, there's nothing that we can really do. I'm like, but how is it that I'm in debt when my husband didn't work, and can you explain to me what happened? And it's like, oh no, like these are your tax liabilities. And I'm like, so as a single woman trying to make a business that's married, I have tax liabilities and I'm like, understand the system. The higher up I go as a red eye CEO, the more tax breaks I get. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. It's not like, oh, everyone should do it. That's the system, not me. You know what I mean? The system allows for us to get tax breaks as CEOs. I am Tahyira Savanna. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was Talk 16. Happy Black Business Month. I'll be back with another content drop this month. We got a lot going on. Next coming up for me is T Slaves. Got a music video coming out. We have Wild Thoughts Wednesdays. I'm getting back my shows in order. We have podcasts coming out at 4S Nation. Also courses, because I'm going back to class. But I'm in front of class this time. That was a lot. That was Frankie. All right, we'll see you guys later.